So starting on the library website, you will find all the citation information you need on our research guides. Once you click on research guides, you'll just want to scroll down to how to. And under our how-to guides, you'll find a variety of information for citing and organizing your sources. First, I want to point out our APA citation guide. Here you'll find just about everything you'll need for any type of source you'll want to cite. I particularly like this how do I cite menu. Here you'll find how to cite journal articles, websites, books, all sorts of valuable information. If you're working on an annotated bibliography, this will provide you some nice examples with what the citation looks like and the actual annotation. And there's even a video here that can help you out. Going back, if you are interested in getting started with a citation manager, you can explore our Citation Manager's Guide, and on this page, you'll see a comparison chart of different citation managers out there. The two that the library supports are EndNote Basic and Zotero. You'll find information on EndNote Basic here. And this will just help you with getting started, adding items into EndNote, and creating your reference list at the end of your paper. I already created a video on getting started with EndNote, and we're going to link that video into this one at a later point. But for now, we're going to get started with showing you Zotero.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. EndNote is fine if you like it, but I think that Zotero has a little bit more sort of functionality when it comes to plugins and things like that. It's a little bit easier to use, I think. So I'm going to show you quickly, just kind of go through kind of how to use that. It is a little bit of a learning curve, so give yourself 30 minutes or so to just kind of play around with it when you first download and install it. And also, you know, watch some videos. There's some great videos out there. There's a lot of good information online. All right. So I'm going to get started, if you do not already have Zotero, you just want to go to zotero.org and you want to click on download. And when you do, it's going to recognize the type of computer that you have. So it's either for Windows or for Macs. You want to download this desktop program, and it's all free, which is also what we love about it. And you're also going to want to download a Zotero connector. So for me, it has recognized that I'm on Chrome, and so I have already downloaded this Chrome connector, but you should do that as well. There have been some issues with Safari. So if you are on a Mac and using Safari, I would recommend using either Firefox or Chrome instead for this purpose. And then there are other plugins that you're able to get for Word, for example, and I think for some other word processing programs. I use Word on my computer, so I have downloaded that, and I will show you kind of how that works as well. But for now, let me, can you all see my Zotero open, or do you still see my, or do you still see the browser?
Still see the browser.
You'll see the browser, okay. Sure. Okay, so now you should see my open Zotero. So this is what it looks like. Obviously I have a lot of stuff in there right now. Yours will look a lot emptier. It's going to make you basically sign up for an account when you first download it. And that's for a couple of different reasons. First of all, so that your stuff can be backed up online. So pretty much everything that's on your computer is also going to be on your online Zotero site. So if you happen to be like away from your computer or something happens to your computer, it should also be backed up online. You won't lose all of that. Also, the online library is super useful for doing a group library. So let's say you are working on a project with somebody else. For example, I have this fictional Jenny's group over here. I'm working on a project with Jenny, and we have some references in there that we both can see and that we can both add to. So it's pretty great. I like it. The other things you can kind of do with this program, you can make different folders, and I believe that you can do 2 test 1 and 2. You can do basically 1 level and then 1 other level. So you can have 2 levels of folders, and you can kind of organize your references that way. So in terms of how to actually get references, this is what I think is the fun part. Let me go back to sharing my other screen. Okay. So let's say that we go back to this search that that Jen and I did our first video, substance use disorder in teens in Boston. And you can see that right up here is my Zotero connector that I've installed in Chrome. So it looks like a folder right now. It will look like a number of different things depending on the site that you're on. So if I go ahead and click on that, I'm seeing, I believe, the first page, or at least first 25 search results from my search. And let's say I did a really great search. This is one that I really like, and I like the results that I'm getting. And I can kind of quickly look through and say, okay, yeah, these are the ones that I want to save to my citation manager. So you just add them. You can actually add them all if you want. Click OK. And you should see up here in this corner, they have downloaded. And they have been put in my test 1-2 folder. And right here, you can see they download the EBSCO record as well. So that's the database record. If there is full text available, like a PDF of that journal article, it will, right here, will actually be the download of the PDF. So it's a great way to kind of store the PDFs very, very easily. Yeah.
Can you show again what you just did, how you selected the items?
Yep, absolutely. So I'm going to go up to my little Zotero connector up here. And I'm going to choose the items that I want from this list. And then click OK. And it automatically just downloads those into a folder. And if you want to change the folder, you can actually do that right here as well.
It doesn't really show how you're doing the choosing on the screen. Are you clicking on them, or?
Good to know. Hold on 1 second. I will make that obvious. Okay. All right, so this should work. So can you see that now, the pop-up?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it pops up and then you just click. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Several steps in this session. So that's how you would do it if you have a great search results list. But let's say I actually want to just save one. So I go into the record, and right now what you see, what used to be a folder is actually just a piece of paper now. And if I click on that, it'll still save this particular record to Zotero. So that's just another way of doing that. The great thing about Zotero is that I can also get information from other sources and import it in the same way. So let's say I want to look at the at socialworkers.org, the NASW. Wait till that loads. Taking a long time to load, so we're just going to randomly go to the next one. So let's say that there is some policy information here that I want. So maybe under resources, I want to look at their recent press. So the recent things that they came out with. Let's say this is something that I want to reference in my paper. I can go up here, click on this, and it is saving the web page to Zotero. So what this looks like in the actual program, you basically just open the program, and this is the website that I just saved right here. If I double click here, it actually gives us a snapshot of what it looked like at the time that we found it. And it also gives some information like the that it is a web page, who made the web page, the URL, the date accessed, so that when you actually do create your citation, create your bibliography, you can add that just the same way as you would add any kind of an article. So it's a very awesome program. Do you have any questions, Jen, about how this works?
So how would you go about adding some in-text citations as you write?
Yeah, so Zotero, like I said, has a lot of great functionality. I have downloaded a Word plugin, which I'm opening a blank Word document, and if I click on the little Zotero right here, you can see that you have some options: add edit citation and add edit bibliography. So there's a couple of ways to get a reference into a bibliography. So I'm going to show you that really quick. So I'm just going to put this, kind of minimize some things so I can have them side by side and see them. Let's say that this is something that I really want in my paper. I can actually drag and drop here, and you have the citation. I'll show you what it looks like for something that is more of a journal article. Basically like this. So you can see that this might not be formatted completely correctly in terms of indentations and things like that. You should refer to the APA guide that Jen showed you before in order to kind of just make sure that your citation is formatted correctly. Pretty much no citation manager will actually give you 100% of a correct citation 100% of the time, and that's across the board, so always make sure to double check. So let's say we have those in there. We just made a little bibliography, and I want to do a quote, and I want to do an in-text citation for that. So that's my little quote, and I go up to add edit citation. It asks me which format, so I want to do APA. And what I can do from here is look at, I can search for any citation that I have in Zotero that I've already imported. I click on the one that I want. And for a website, that's how an in-text citation would work. So if I click enter, it comes up with who made the website and also no date because it wasn't published at a particular time. Let's say I wanted to add a journal article. Let's see. So it'll come up like that if you add a journal article. So the reason that it also gives you a little, it puts the little cursor in there is because at certain times you actually have to put the page numbers for in-text citations for APA. So you have the option to do it here. Whoops. actually you have the option to do it once you click on it, and then you can add page, whatever. So that's sort of how that looks. And then if you had been kind of going with the in-text citations, you have all your in-text citations, and you want to just create a bibliography from those, you can just do add edit bibliography, and only the ones that you've already cited will come up in the bibliography.
Wonderful.
It's pretty cool. Okay. So any questions from you all? Yeah.
So can you walk me through the steps of how we get Zotero to merge with our Word?
Yeah, it's actually very easy. You are going to want to search for Zotero Word plugin.
Okay.
And it's, let's see if this is actually the plugin. Yep. So word processor plugins. So you can do like LibreOffice, Google Docs, things like that. There should be an actual download when you click on these. So if you do installing, that will get you there. And it just, I think you just have to close and then open up Word, and then you should be good to go.
Okay, so that should just appear as like in the same way that it looks like on your Word thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Is one of the sort of tabs across the top. Any other questions so far? All right. So a couple more things I will point out about Zotero. I would say take a quick look at some of the other ways to kind of work with Zotero, but you can, I believe under preferences, you can choose which style you want. So if I always wanted to put out APA, I can do that here, and you can see that there's no APA 7th edition yet, but my Zotero does keep asking me to update it, so I bet that has the APA 7th edition in it. So it's a product that does keep updating. You can also add something from Zotero. So if I click on new item, I can add any one of these items and kind of input my own information. So if I'm looking at a book, like a textbook or something, I can actually go there and add the textbook into my citations for whatever class that is. You can also add items by ISBN. So if you do have a book, that's an easy way to do it. DOI, other ways, and it'll just kind of pull it right up because it's connected to those systems of information. So those are just kind of some other ways of actually adding it. And note that for some of the articles that are actually journal articles, they do have the abstract in here as well, and a lot of related information. And if you do see, this one comes up with a downloaded version of the PDF, but if I do also click on the EBSCO record, it does take me back to that specific record where I can do some more searching. All right, do you have any other questions, Jen?
I don't.
You feel like you know Zotero pretty well
I
now?
think so.
Yeah.
I think I can get started.
Yep. Jen's new to Zotero, and I've been trying to
You might
get her to
have
move
converted
over.
me.
Yep. But again, do watch the EndNote video if you want to know how that works. If you prefer that, that's an online-based program, an internet, so you don't have to download anything specific for that.